Hello and back to Earth School. Hello and back to Earth School we go. We are here now. Breathe. It's 11:22. And this means it's 11:23. This means I missed the golden window. Do you recommend the diet you're now on for anyone? Do you think it's the right way? And do you believe that if anyone took on your diet starting today, that this would benefit them? So I was asked this one question. The diet you're now on, which is, did you feel a difference? Like, do you notice any difference when you're eating this way? Or is it just you who have heard it's good or believe it's good and you're recommending it because of that? Can you just ask me if I'm directly stupid or not instead? Yes, I'm not kidding around when it comes to this. And I think it's because it was about life or death. In my situation, it was about life or death. And so there's so much I could have said around this. All of the toxic supplements I was on, all of the podcasts and books I listened to that made everything worse. And of course, it was my fault that I chose to listen and that I went that road. And so now I feel like there's nothing I can say or do that will justify what I've learned, experienced, and realized through this journey. You know, probably the most bitchy thing that I meant and that I've done is when I was in the hospital. My brother was there, and so my oldest brother was there, and I looked him straight into the eyes and I said, do you know that if you took every single doctor on this hospital combined, I would still know more about diet, health and diet, like that combination, not medicines, not operations, nothing doctory, just health and diet, than all of them combined. I said that, I looked him straight into the eyes, and I meant it, and I still mean it. Not in a harmful way, not in an arrogant way, nothing. Just in a way where you could say I wasted, and see, I look fat in that mirror. Because that was another question I got. I didn't waste, but literally I dedicated 10 years to experimenting with diet and lifestyle on my own body. None of them did. They were busy learning and studying and becoming doctors and saving lives in their own way. I'm pretty sure none of them had the time, energy, or interest, or even need to go as deep into diet and healing chronic fatigue and a lifetime of deficiencies and addiction addictive patterns that I had to because of my own body. I don't think I could have worked as a doctor or done their job better than any of them. I just think that my area of interest is this, and and I just happen to learn a lot because of that. And also, if any of them just read one of these books, they would know more than the rest combined as well. Can you see how this is considered to be that radical? I can see that. But you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I am wrong. And I would be so happy if that was wrong. Yeah, if that wasn't true. I really would. The thing, personally, I think that just puts medical medium information apart from everyone else, and this has nothing to do with his persona. It's like Jesus. I never met Jesus in person, physically, but I know that it was actually never about Jesus, the person. Well, that's maybe wrong to say. It became about, because he embodied his truth, his higher, he embodied something higher, and he merged with love. Like, he became an embodiment of love. But that's not just Jesus, that's love. It's so much bigger than that. And Jesus knew this. That's why he wanted to teach everyone to find that same love and to experience that same thing within and through themselves, because that is very possible. We're all an expression of the same source, yeah? So when it comes to the medical medium, I haven't seen anyone else describing viruses, bacteria, heavy metals, any diseases, and foods in the same way yet. And so, you know what? I would rather someone think I'm arrogant and thinking I know more than I probably do than to them. And I probably also need a microphone. What do you think? Than to make this smaller than I think it is. And in the answer, in the future, I might laugh of this. But I thought about this yesterday. Why does this trigger me so much? So now I hear people saying, without being on any diet or anything, like, I love fruits and vegetables and I'm happy to eat it. But in my case, I barely touched any vegetables. I probably hadn't eaten any leafy greens for my first 20 years, of life. And just a few fruits, like some apples, bananas, grapes. I ate. The bigger I got, the more I ate. But fruits and melons. But I was extremely picky, so I missed out on a lot of healthy foods. And with my personality and interests, which were highly physical, it was a draining combination, an unsustainable combination for my cells, my brains, my storages, everything. So I think that's why I almost become fanatic about this. because to me personally, it was that important. It felt that important. And it still does. If I ever had children, I would love to teach my children the same thing so they wouldn't have to go through the same health challenges. But I know that the future will bring new challenges for all of us. And that's where I think this is even more important. Because just because. So yes, immediately I noticed huge differences when I switched to this. And the day before changing and receiving this, or the week before, I was at my lowest point physically. I was doing everything right. I think I've said this before and I will say it again. So I was doing everything right. Had the easiest life schedule. I was in Italy, living life. And I was at my lowest. So as soon as I found this and learned this and started to implement it, it was like my entire life came back into view. And I got this new hope for my future and everything. For me, important thing was my stomach. And how I just can feel that everything just works much better. So yes, I know this huge difference, and I would recommend everyone to start moving in the same direction. I wouldn't even recommend myself 5 years ago to do what I do now, or 6, 7 years ago to do what I do now, because you have to, or I had to grow into it. But that doesn't mean I would recommend myself to stay or to go back. Just to continue moving forward in your own pace. And no, I wouldn't recommend any human being on the planet right now to continue eating, consuming gluten, dairy, eggs, canola oil, or high fat. Just because of the air, the water, politics, chemicals, and technology we have. So it's not saying that I'm doing the right thing, but I'm saying that nature is doing the right thing, I think, personally, and that it would be smart of all of us to use that for our advantage. And I will share more about this just because no one else will probably ever get what I'm saying. But at least I'll know that I didn't hold back just because someone else were on a different journey. I would just know that this isn't for everyone, and a normal diet isn't for everyone anywhere. And all of this is not that anyone is doing anything wrong. And what I think even now, when speaking about it, I feel like it's so sad when something you're passionate about and something you believe in is deemed as too much. And I can totally understand that. But I know if I look back at my life, this has been my strength and my weakness, to go in too much all in and to be extremely passionate about something. And yeah, I'll finish off by saying this, that for me, when it comes to diet, it's the simplest thing I could do. It's fun, it's easy. Am I perfect? No. That's why it feels even better to do this one thing. As Medical Medium says, already, if you're not eating things that are feeding viruses and pathogens, you're already winning. To me, it's a win-win to get to consume all of these yummy foods and to learn in adult age that there's so much goodness here. So much goodness here. I don't miss a thing, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way.